When Martha met 35-year-old Charles, she was 17. The girl lived with her grandmother, Meredith. Her mother had passed away a few years ago, and she had never had a father. They lived poorly, and there was so much temptation around. After watching movies, the naive high school student dreamed of a rich prince and a beautiful life. And when an impressive-looking car stopped nearby, the man who got out of it seemed to her to be that special prince. However, she was frightened by the invitation to go for a ride and increased her pace. The stranger left the car on the roadside and followed the girl, trying to ask her name. Flattered by his attention and pleasant appearance, Martha forgot about the safety rules and started a conversation. She was pleased to hear the compliments the man showered her with, and at first, she smiled shyly in response to his jokes. But quickly, she became more relaxed. Next, after walking through the evening streets, she accepted an invitation to have dinner in a cafe that they found on the way. The girl had never been to such places before. She greedily absorbed the festive atmosphere of the cafe, the music, the champagne, and the attention of the man she liked more and more. The night continued in the hotel room. Martha quickly gave in to the charm of her new acquaintance and surrendered herself to the power of his experienced hands. In the morning, Charles found out that the girl was underage and felt embarrassed. But nevertheless, he asked to meet again. "Just let our meetings be our little secret for now, okay? No need to give people a reason to be jealous and gossip prematurely." Martha agreed with everything he said, for it was only now that she realized how much she had missed the care and support she had received from the businessman who had opened a branch of his company in their town. Besides, she was flattered by the attention of an adult man and liked the gifts and the opportunity to go to restaurants with him. Therefore, the girl accepted all the conditions of her secret lover. However, his feelings quickly cooled down, and then he left. Later, he began to visit this town once or twice a month on company business. On one of his visits, his ex-girlfriend was waiting for him near his office. She informed him that she was pregnant, and it was too late to do anything about it. Charles didn't hesitate long. He told her to wait for him in the evening in a secluded place. When they met in a secluded corner of an abandoned park, Charles began the conversation right away. "Listen to me. If anyone finds out about it, you'll say goodbye to your life. Don't be so scared." He slowed down, noticing the horror on the girl's face. "I won't hurt you. On the contrary, I'm worried about you, and I want you to be all right. But if my competitors find out about you, they won't leave you or the baby alive. I can protect my family, but not you. I don't have that kind of power. Do you understand?" Yes, nodded the frightened girl. "I understand. I won't tell anyone. But how will I explain to my grandma who the father of the baby is? Think of something on your own, or just keep quiet. If you do everything right, I'll help you." He gave Martha money. "This is for the first time, and you'll get a large sum of money every month." Martha's grandmother had already understood everything. She asked, without waiting for her granddaughter's confession, "Well, who is the baby's father?" "My baby has no father," the girl replied gloomily. "I am alone. Forgive me, Grandma. Oh, you have made the same mistake as your mother, and it is not you who should ask for forgiveness, but me, because I haven't taught you so much, haven't told you so much, and haven't prepared you for adulthood. But cheer up, that's okay. We'll raise your baby," Meredith said. Martha continued going to school for a while until some of her classmates began to ask her questions and sometimes even mocked her. One day, Martha ran away from school in tears and decided not to go back. Her grandmother had to talk to the principal so that they would help her continue her studies. From that day until her final exams, the girl was studying at home. Teachers were sympathetic to her situation and visited her at home, helping her prepare for her exams. Martha passed her exams and graduated. Soon, she gave birth to a daughter. Meredith insisted on giving the girl the name B, which means happy. The chain of unhappy women's fates must be broken at some point, she explained. The baby girl was calm, as if she realized that her mother already had enough to worry about. Martha was still afraid of Charles's threats, so she didn't spend the money he gave her, but hid it in a secret place. She didn't want to explain to anyone where the money came from. At first, life was very difficult because the only income was her grandmother's pension. But when we got a little older, Martha had a part-time job, and then she packed up and left with her 3-year-old daughter to another city. Of course, Meredith tried to talk her out of it, but her granddaughter insisted on her decision, explaining that she was going to study. When she got there, she rented an apartment, settled down, enrolled in the university, and hired a nanny for her daughter. The money she had saved over the years was enough, and the rest of it Martha deposited into a bank account. Charles kept watch over Martha and her daughter all the time, regularly sending her money using his connections. He even helped to find a good kindergarten for Bea, but he never tried to get to know her better. Martha lived a double life. She sent money to her grandmother every month, explaining that in addition to her studies, she got a job and earned a decent income. She really did work remotely as a call center operator. Of course, the income was very modest, but the girl didn't want to rely entirely on Charles, and she spent his money only when she really needed it. Martha tried to live as modestly as possible, but she never denied her daughter anything and devoted all her spare time to her. During her university years, Martha kept her personal life a secret, always cautious and avoiding close relationships with anyone. Therefore, she didn't have any good friends or a boyfriend. This situation wasn't comfortable and burdened her, but she didn't see any other options. Charles still transferred money but didn't show up in her life. Little by little, Martha stopped being afraid of the unknown criminals that Charles used to intimidate her with. She came to the conclusion that he had made it all up and was threatening her to make sure the underage fool wouldn't tell anyone about their affair, and he wouldn't be prosecuted. After all, he knew she was only 17, but that didn't stop him. After graduating from university, she got a good job and moved to another city. Martha decided that she would use her savings for the last time, buying a modest and not too expensive apartment. And after that, she would live using only her own income. She had not been in touch with Charles, so she didn't know what to expect from him. This uncertainty seemed to her more dangerous than anything else. What if one day he would change his mind and decide she or her daughter owed him something? In this case, she had a large sum of money, almost all the money he had been sending all this time. She had only spent a part of it. If Charles shows up in their lives and threatens or demands something, she'll just give him all that money back. By that time, Bea already studied at school. The girl was very independent and smart. She was an excellent student, helped her mom with household chores, and dreamed of a dog. Her mother persuaded her in vain to limit herself to a small and simple pet. Bea was adamant. "Why don't you understand, Mom?" Bea wondered. "A dog is a good friend. How am I going to be friends with a turtle who sleeps all the time or with dumb fish? And cats are too independent, they don't need humans." When one day her daughter came home with a little white dog in her arms, Martha wasn't even surprised. "Mom, do you know where she's been?" The girl was indignant. "Someone tied her up near the store and left her. They abandoned her." How do you know she was abandoned? There was no one around her. No one at all. She was crying, and she couldn't leave because she was tied up. The owner probably just went to the store for a while. "No, I waited for a long time, and no one came." "Let's keep this dog," the girl said. "First of all, this dog is already someone's friend, and secondly, you dreamed of a protector, and who can this little dog protect?" "Yes, it's just a little dog," the girl cried. "But I love this little dog, and I don't want any other dog." Martha calmed her daughter down and persuaded her to try to find the puppy's owner, promising that if it didn't work out, the dog would stay with them forever. The dog's owners were found quickly. The very next day, a woman and a boy a little older than B showed up on their doorstep. Upon seeing them, the dog squealed and began to jump around happily. "Missy," the boy said, sitting down and hugging her. "I'm so happy we found you. There was a long line at the checkout, so I had to wait," he explained. "And when I left the store, the dog was gone. I don't understand how this could have happened. I guess I didn't tie her up good enough, and she managed to escape." "Thank you very much," his mother said. "We were so worried, we were afraid we'd never see her again. She is like a family member, you know. I don't know how to thank you." "No, you don't have to thank us." Martha looked at B and refused any financial gratitude. "Let's have some tea." The company was drinking tea in the kitchen, and they agreed that B could sometimes walk the dog with Max, as it turned out they lived in the same neighborhood. "Look how well everything has turned out," Martha said, saying goodbye to her new friends. "Now you will have two friends at once, Max and Missy. We'll also buy you a dog of your choice, and you'll walk your dogs together." And this weekend, Max's mom Anna invited us to their summer house for her birthday party. "Mom, thank you for not telling them why the dog was lost," her daughter clung to her. "I'm sorry, I felt so ashamed at the birthday party." Martha met Bradley, Anna's brother, and she immediately liked him. She excitedly listened to the sound of his low but tender voice, furtively glancing in his direction. Her heart was racing, but she tried not to show it, for the man had come with his girlfriend, Samantha, a very attractive brunette who made it clear that Bradley belonged to her. Bradley seemed to enjoy it all. Right then, Martha sighed. After spending some time at the table with everyone, she joined the children playing with the dog on the lawn. They were making so much noise that they attracted the attention of the rest of the company. The adults joined them too and then decided to play volleyball. Martha, who had played sports in high school, played excellently and moved very gracefully, winning the admiring glances of the men present. Samantha refused to do anything that would harm her long, manicured nails. In the evening, they went for a walk in the woods where Samantha was endlessly cranky and demanding Bradley's attention. Bradley was very patient and caring, but by the end of the evening, he could no longer hide his irritation, leaving the girl alone with Anna. He slowed his pace to wait for the children, led by Martha, who was walking behind him. It was much more fun to walk with them. They had met in the city by chance. Martha was in a hurry, but she couldn't resist Bradley's offer to have coffee at the nearest cafe. The conversation was fun and relaxed, but she refused to go for a walk, saying she had urgent work to do at home. She regretted it because she often remembered Bradley, his eyes, and his smile. But Martha realized he had Samantha, and she didn't want to ruin their relationship. "I've got enough problems, I don't need another one," she told herself. "Besides, nothing will come of it anyway. I don't want to ruin people's lives." When Anna invited Martha and her daughter to her summer house again, Martha refused. No, refusal was not accepted. Anna said, "First of all, Max and I miss you and B, and secondly, Bradley really asked for you to be there." "Bradley? Why?" Martha wondered. "Isn't Samantha enough for him?" "There is no Samantha anymore," that's what Bradley said. "Frankly, I don't like her either. I'm glad my brother finally realized she wasn't right for him." "That's even more awkward," Martha said in confusion. B was excited about the trip, and upon arrival, she immediately rushed with Max and his dog into the garden. Martha felt uncomfortable, but her friend cheered her up, and by the time Bradley arrived, she was feeling much more confident. He came in with flowers for her and Anna, then the children returned, and it immediately became fun and noisy. Martha felt very comfortable in the company of good friends. All these feelings were new to her because she had never had friends or parties before. She saw how warm the relationships between the owners of the house were, noticed how tenderly and friendly the brother and sister communicated, and how caring Anna's husband was. It was clear that they loved each other and their son very much. She wanted to be a member of this friendly family, to joke and laugh carefree, enjoying the company of loved ones. When she caught herself at the thought, Martha felt uneasy. After the story with Charles, she had never let anyone close to her or her life. The shameful secret was a burden to her, but there was no way she could reveal it to Anna, much less to Bradley. Noticing the change in her mood, Bradley suggested they go for a walk. "Are you upset about something?" Bradley asked gently, putting his arm around her. "No, not at all," Martha replied hastily. "I'm okay. You have such a wonderful sister, her family is so lovely, and Bea has become good friends with Max. I'm glad I met Anna by chance back then, and I'm glad you met her because through your chance meeting, I met you. I've missed you all this time, and after our last meeting at the cafe, I was very worried. You left so quickly that I thought I'd done something wrong. Did I hurt you somehow?" "I don't think you can hurt anyone," the girl smiled embarrassedly. "You're very nice, really. Have you really noticed that?" Bradley wondered. "I haven't told you about all of my strengths yet, but let's not be hasty. We've got it all ahead of us." Bradley smiled slightly. "I like you a lot, and we need to do something about it." "What?" "First, we need to go back to the house and have lunch." Back at the house, Martha was surprised at how the owners had managed to decorate the house. "Are you having a party?" she asked, noticing the joyful excitement of the host and the sly smiles on the children's faces. "But why didn't you tell me?" "I forbade them to say anything," Bradley's voice came from behind her. The girl turned around and saw Bradley with a large box in his hands. "Open it," he held out the box. Martha opened the lid, and colorful butterflies flew out of the box. "Wow!" She couldn't hide her emotion as she looked up. "What a miracle!" "Thank you." The girl lowered her gaze to Bradley and saw the ring in his hand. "These butterflies are marvelous, but they are no equal to you," he said. "Marry me." "Wait," Martha took his hand away. "You don't know anything about me at all. We just met recently. Is it really important?" "What's important is our feelings. We have a lifetime to get to know each other. Say yes, you won't regret it, I promise." In the end, Martha didn't regret her decision. She was happy with Bradley, and Bea also liked him. The birth of their daughter, Michelle, made the family even more united. Charles became aware of all the changes in Martha's life. He always knew everything about her, and she was wary of his reaction. But nothing happened. The man just kept transferring money to her account every month. One day, Bradley asked about Bea's father, and the woman only said that her daughter was the fruit of her first foolish love and that Bea's father no longer existed for her. To her great relief, her husband didn't go into details, satisfied with that answer. He really loved her, and he didn't care about her past. Martha would have been perfectly happy if it hadn't been for her secret. She felt guilty for not revealing it to her beloved, but she couldn't tell him everything either. There were different situations in their lives. There were years of prosperity, and there were also periods of poverty when any additional money would be helpful. But she was determined not to spend Charles's money, and even if she changed her mind, how would she explain where such a large amount of money came from and why she hid from her husband that she still gets money from her ex? So, the years went by, and everything remained the same. Martha did not see any way out of the situation, and it depressed her a lot. She was also afraid that one day Charles would come to her husband and tell him everything. He unexpectedly showed up when Bea was in her final year of high school. He contacted Martha and said he would wait for her at a small cafe. When they met, he said he wanted his daughter to get a university education in another city after graduation. "Are you sure that's what she wants?" Martha was indignant. You should have asked her about her plans first. She may have her own plans. But she doesn't understand anything about life yet, Charles explained patiently. She needs to continue her studies and get into the best university in the country. Don't worry, I'll take care of all the expenses. I don't understand. Why live your life and leave us alone? We don't want anything from you. Just don't bother us. Don't I have the right to take care of my daughter's good education? If you wish, I can even go to her and confess who I am. No, Martha was frightened. Don't. I don't mind her in a university, but I'm not sure she'll be willing to move to another city. She will because she's my daughter. All you have to do is convince her. Bea was happy at her mother's suggestion. She was already an excellent student, but now she began to study with even more enthusiasm. She successfully passed the exams and entered the university of her choice. Charles was very pleased. He even rented an apartment for his daughter so that she would not have to drive to the university from afar every morning. Mom, don't worry, everything's going to be fine, Bea reassured her. Of course, she was concerned about the situation and the risk that the long-kept secret might somehow be revealed, but there was nothing she could do about it. Meanwhile, Charles came up with another idea. When he learned that Bea was going to get a job, he asked Martha to tell his daughter about a vacancy for a caregiver for an elderly woman. Martha only had to bring her daughter a fake advertisement that she supposedly saw on a bulletin board. That salary is insane, Bea said as she listened to the news. Do such services really cost that much? You must be very lucky. Call them as soon as you can before they hire someone else, Martha lied without even blushing. Martha tried to hide her nervousness, but she felt as if Charles and his mother were taking Bea away from her. She felt like she had raised her daughter for them, like it was an order for a high-quality product. The woman felt many emotions at once, jealousy, resentment, and anger at herself for not being able to do anything about it. On the other hand, she doubted whether to interfere at all. After all, her daughter was getting a good education at the best university in the country, had found a good job, and was earning a lot of money. Is there anything wrong with that? Martha should be happy about that, but she was not happy at all. Martha felt as if they were stealing her daughter away from her in this way, and she was about to lose her. She came home depressed. Bradley was worried and bombarded his wife with questions, but she only told him it was hard to be separated from her daughter and that she was tired of the trip and everything else. Bea called home often and told everything in detail, she said. She said she was very happy with her independence. Don't worry, Mom, everything is fine. I like studying, and I have a lot of friends here. By the way, I don't work as a caregiver anymore. Amelia was seriously ill, but now, thanks to my care, she feels fine, and she said she rather needs a companion to spend time with, so we go to the park, go on excursions, cook together, and she also teaches me how to knit. When her son, Charles, comes to visit, we have different interesting conversations and go to the theater. Once, we even went to a show together, the three of us. They're nice, kind, but I miss you so much, Mommy. When Martha retold the news from Bea, she was always worried, unable to hold back her tears, her voice shaking. One day, when she couldn't bear it, she said she had to go to her daughter to see if she was all right. She seems to be all right, but what's going on with you? The anxious Bradley said. You haven't been yourself since you came back from the capital, and I'm worried about it. Maybe you met another man there. It seems you've become indifferent to me, and you've even stopped noticing Michelle. If you have fallen out of love with me, just tell me. What? Martha Ged asked Bradley. How could you even think that? It's just that I'm worried about Bea. She's still a kid. She just graduated from high school and already living alone in a big city. She's an adult, and she's never been frivolous. No, it's something else. I feel like you have become aloof, and something is bothering you all the time. Let's talk frankly. I've always trusted you and never asked you anything because there was no reason to be jealous, but now I'm feeling very uneasy. I want to know what's going on, and I won't accept any excuses." "All right," Martha gave in. "I'll tell you everything, but it's a long story. You'll have to be patient." When Martha finished her story, she cried. It was as if she'd experienced it all over again, but she also felt freedom and peace, as if a huge stone had fallen off her soul. The secret had been tormenting her for so long. "I'm sorry, Bradley. I should have told you right away, but I didn't want to lose you, and I was afraid of Charles and those criminals he was threatening me with. Now everything's clear, but it doesn't make it any easier. I'm afraid he'll take B away from me. They've got a grown-up daughter and a granddaughter. It turns out I wasn't raising B for me, but for them. But she's mine. I don't want to share her with them. I don't know what to do now. If B finds out the truth, she'll accuse me of being silent this whole time." "Don't worry," Bradley comforted her. "You've told me everything, which means it's not your problem anymore. It's our common problem, and we can handle it. We'll go there together, meet Charles and his mother, and talk it over. Charles's money that you have saved, I think we should give it back to him, if you don't mind. We don't need it. If he refuses, we'll use it to buy an apartment for B. What do you think of my plan?" "The plan is wonderful," Martha embraced her husband with a smile. "I'm glad I finally shared this secret with you. You are so mysterious today." "Amelia," B said in surprise, "did something happen?" "It will happen soon," Amelia replied. "It's my anniversary the day after tomorrow, and Charles has decided to organize a party for me at his country house. You are coming with me." "Oh no, it's not a good idea. It's a family party, and I'm just a stranger," the girl was embarrassed. "I don't know any of them. Anyway, why do you need me there?" "Don't worry, there won't be many people there, only my relatives and my friend Lillian. Do you remember I introduced you to her and her grandson, Donovan? By the way, do you like him?" "Yes, very much," B looked embarrassed. "We went out a couple of times, and then he disappeared. He was traveling on business," Amelia explained, "and now he's back, and he's going to accompany his grandmother, so he'll keep you company. By the way, he asked about you." "Yes, very much," B looked embarrassed. "We went out a couple of times, and then he disappeared. He was traveling on business," Amelia explained, "and now he's back, and he's going to accompany his grandmother, so he'll keep you company. By the way, he asked about you." "Yes," Amelia replied, "and now he's back, and he's going to accompany his grandmother, so he'll keep you company. By the way, he asked about you." They arrived a little earlier than the other guests. Charles, who met them, said it was necessary. Upon entering the house, B was surprised. "Mom, Bradley, what are you doing here?" "We have something to tell you," Martha replied. "Come on in, the conversation will take a long time." "It's insane," B said as she listened to their story. "It's like a soap opera. I thought it never happened in real life. Why didn't you say anything for so many years? Couldn't you have told me before?" "Unfortunately, we couldn't," Charles interrupted. "And what now? Should I call you Daddy or what?" "Amelia, did you know?" "I found out only recently," the woman said. She walked over and hugged her granddaughter. "And from that moment on, I felt absolutely happy. You can call me whatever you want. The main thing is that we have you now. It will take time for you to get used to Charles, but it's okay. Be yourself. You don't have to say anything forcefully. Take your time, okay? It's time to greet the guests." Everyone congratulated Amelia, wishing her good health, happiness, and many more years of life. And then Amelia said, "My dear guest, I am so glad that you came. Thank you for your gifts and wishes, for your warmth and love. But I must confess that the best gift I received today is my granddaughter B, Charles's daughter. Here she is. Please welcome her. But she is all grown up now. I didn't educate her. I didn't watch her grow up. I didn't read her bedtime stories, and I didn't kiss her goodnight. But better late than never, right? But I have to admit, B grew up to be a very good person even without me in her life, and for that, I am truly grateful to her parents, Martha and Bradley. Give them a warm welcome. We found new family members, and I'm sure our family will be even happier now. And now that we have our beautiful B, our bloodline will continue, which is the most important thing in our lives. Thank you for joining us today on Deep Stories. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video.